Welcome, everybody, to the Cone of Shame Veterinary Podcast. I am your host, DrAndyRoark. Guys, I got a really cool, fun one for you today. I am talking to the co-owners of Latah Creek Animal Hospital in Spokane, Washington, and they are pioneering the future of fear-free, in their own words, and I'll let them tell you about that. But they have got this little animal hospital in Spokane. They've got one vet and 5 LVTs, and we get into it because I was like, okay, we need to talk about what you're doing, how you're doing it. And boy, they're loaded up and rocking and rolling, and they are really fear-free. And so I start poking holes in them. I ask them about how long that takes. I ask them about what parts of fear-free they decided not to do, what parts they gave up on. Boy, it was a fascinating conversation. I just told them after we finished recording, and they said, well, come and see us. And I was like, buddy, next time I get out to Washington, I think I'll probably come and do it. So anyway, I think this is fascinating what they're doing. Gang, I hope you enjoy it. I hope this sparks a bunch of ideas for you, some creativity, some inspiration. There's going to be some people who are going to think they want to move out to Washington after this. Anyway, let's get into this episode.
This is your show. We're glad you're here. We want to help you in your veterinary career. Welcome to the Cone of Shame with Dr. DrAndyRoark.
Welcome to the podcast, Dr. Megan Bauer and Jessica Osborne. How are you guys doing?
Great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
It is my pleasure to have you. I met you guys just recently. You were introduced to me through a good buddy of mine, Dr. Marty Becker. And so Marty Becker is the founder of Fear Free, and he said to me, you have got to talk to these ladies about what they're doing in their hospital in Spokane. And I said, okay. And he's like, no, really, you should talk to them. They have a very mature fear-free hospital, meaning you guys have been doing it for a long time. You have really elevated your low stress handling and sort of your general approach to fear-free. And I wanted to circle back and talk to you for a couple of reasons. So I feel like fear-free took off a number of years ago, and there was a lot of excitement around it. It's like a lot of things. There's a lot of excitement around the beginning, and then people realize it's kind of hard work, and and a lot of people sort of fall off. And so I'm really interested in a couple of things. You guys, what have you learned over your journey? We're going to get into that. But then also, how you've persisted and sort of stayed on focus and what's driving that. So let me just start and step back here from the beginning and say, why don't you guys, first of all, tell me a little bit about your relationships. You guys are practice manager, doctor, co-owners in this hospital. Is that correct?
Yes.
And this is Latah Creek Animal Hospital. I should have mentioned that up front. But yeah, so Latah Creek. So tell me, what's the general size of it? How many doctors do you have? Things like that. It's a small sort of boutique clinic, right?
So we have one doctor. And we have
It's Megan.
And we have 5 LVTs and multiple assistants and CCRs. So we try to run, not only are we big on fear free, we're big on our team, we're big on utilization of our team members. And so the only way we can be a successful one doctor practice is by the amount of team members that we have and properly use.
You got my attention immediately. I was like, wow, you have 5 LVTs and 1 vet, and that's how you guys are running? Oh, I am here for this. This is great.
And we couldn't have one fewer. I mean, they are all busy all the time.
Okay, let's start. I just want to, okay, let's unpack this from the beginning. Okay. So tell me at the beginning, when did Fear Free come into this? So you're clearly leveraging your staff. Did you grow this way of utilizing your technicians as you were implementing Fear Free? Was you already doing that and then Fear Free kind of came in and laid on top of it? Talk to me a little bit about how you developed this system where you are so leveraged in support staff. How did you get there?
Okay, we'll tell you just a short bit of the backstory.
Yeah.
So
okay.
There's a backstory.
Dr. Megan got Fear Free certified in 2015. I do think she was one of the first veterinary professionals in Spokane, if not the first. Okay. And at my previous clinic, I got that clinic Fear Free certified. We were the first in Spokane to be Fear Free certified.
So also number one.
Also number one.
Yeah.
And then I was very good friends with Dr. Megan's mom, and at my previous clinic, me and the owner were not going down the same path. And as not an owner, I couldn't do the things I wanted to do. So I came down to Latah Creek, and just like 6 weeks before COVID, And as unfortunate as COVID was in a lot of ways, we had the door shut. Clients weren't coming in. And all of the staff that was there, the team that was there when I started, all quit or left because they all were team members of her dad's clinic. They had adopted the clinic. They were running the clinic. And Dr. Megan had purchased this clinic from her dad sort of as is and didn't really have any say or hold on what was happening. It was their clinic basically. So
they were not really interested in change. I had managed to implement a few fear-free changes, but nothing like I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Or just in general. I mean, just in general, it was very much, a culture I inherited, team members I inherited that weren't really interested in doing anything else. And as a brand new baby vet, I didn't really know what to do about that, or even that there could be a different way, really, because everything you see online is like, oh, my clinic's toxic this, my clinic's toxic that. And so well, I guess that's just how it is.
How many years had you been a vet when you purchased this practice, Megan?
2
years.
Yeah.
So you were a vet for 2 years, and then you purchased, and then everybody left, and then there was also a global pandemic. What was that like emotionally when people were leaving? Were you completely panicked? Did you recognize that this is probably kind of what needed to happen? What was your headspace like?
Oh, by the time that was happening, because Jessica was already here, and we were
had a shared vision.
Yes. She basically outlined that there could be a better way. And then I was like, well, yeah. So, emotional to lose people I had known for so long, but very much needed to happen. So that was fine. That is what needed good.
That was fine. That alignment on purpose is huge when you were like, this is where we're going.
That is what needed to happen. So that was totally fine.
It was Dr. Megan and I for quite a while.
Yep,
Mom was answering phones at home. And we built what we wanted the vision to be. We knew it had to be fear-free. And my personal stuff is utilizing our team appropriately. I think LBTs need to be utilized appropriately. I think assistant needs to be used appropriately. So we merged all that together and hired every single team member based on that. So fear-free was already a part of it as we hired team members.
So the nice thing was you had this turnover and you were able to say, this is going to be the culture. And then you were able to bring people in who were going to be on board with that culture, or they wouldn't have come there. So that's good.
Correct.
Jessica, what did your onboarding look like? Because you've got this new practice and you've had a pretty big turnover in staff and you've got these big visions for what's going to be, but you're not bringing people into a system that exists. You're bringing them in to a system that you want to exist. How did you onboard people?
So the system that I wanted to have exist had been something I wanted for a very long time. And that is something that my previous owner, I couldn't have happen there because ultimately she had the final say. So I already knew what I wanted it to look like. I knew how I wanted everyone to be utilized. We knew the extent that we wanted fear-free to be a part of it. So actually, it wasn't easy finding the right team members, but we knew exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So if you're out there thinking, we can't do it because we're short-staffed, we did it as two people alone, seeing many clients during COVID in a tiny little strip mall building. That's not, when you go on our Instagram or on our website, it's like, oh yeah, it's easy in that big building, right? You can look at pictures of the old building and see you can do it in the corner building. You can do it with two people.
Yep. Wow. So talk to me a little bit about getting fear-free up and going. So you've got this vision for fear-free. We're about 2020, right? And so you start to sort of lay these things down. When did you guys know, yes, this is in fact how we really want to practice? I think a lot of people get the idea and they go, wow, that would be great. Mm-hmm. When did you reach the tipping point where you were like, oh, we had said we want to do this. We're in it now. Like what brought that about?
Immediately?
Right, immediately, but also every time, especially during the pandemic when we had to separate pets, because that's a big thing with fear-free. Don't separate the pets from the owner, really, under any circumstance. And during COVID, we really didn't have an option but to do that. However, we still didn't separate them very often. We did a lot of stuff outside. We tried to keep them as close as possible, but we also started to realize that COVID is going to cause a lot of behavior problems for pets. And still, we're seeing repercussions of behavior problems on pets because of COVID. But very early on, we could just see every patient that was able to get care that couldn't have gotten care. And this comes with a lot of trial and error, a lot of very high stress patients that we had to sit down and talk about and figure out how we were going to offer them care. So
Yeah.
that kind of stuff did not happen overnight. Still, we are learning stuff every single day. We're teaching ourselves new stuff. Let me start over. We're teaching ourselves new stuff every day. We're realizing that we're causing stress on patients in different situations, and that is what we've built on for the last 4 years, is things that have caused stress, whether accidental or on purpose, and how can we alleviate that stress intentionally.
Yeah.
So the desire immediately, I mean, the desire to be, only fear-free was right away. We did not just then flower into these immediate, like, gurus of fear-free. Right. I mean, we were doing our best, but like Jessica said, there's a lot to learn, and your patients will teach you a lot. You go in there with this plan that you think is rock solid, and the dog or cat is like, not today. That's not working for me today. And so they will teach you.
So the key in that, and this is where a lot of the hang up is, you have to send that patient home.
Okay.
And that is the part that I think a lot of clinics are like, let's just get it done today. But when you just get it done today, you inflict a lot of stress on that patient. And
so that's the line, that's the big deciding line if you're in or out is, will you send this patient home or will you just get it done?
Barrier.
The money,
the clients, I mean, the clients aren't going to like that. The clients aren't going to like
that.
Some of them won't, but that is another barrier that you could probably speak to better than me, is that you have to be willing to lose those clients.
So you had a turnover in staff as you're getting this going. Did you have a turnover in clients as you guys, because you radically changed what was being done at this practice? I mean, you had established clientele, and so what was that like?
That was not as dramatic as the staff turnover. The team
kind of a journey, though.
It was a journey. It was not like, the reason I say it wasn't as dramatic is because we didn't lose them all at once and have to build them one by one. But it was definitely a journey, because you trimmed his nails last time.
Right.
Why won't you trim his nails this time? Well, because we're not doing that anymore, and here's why. And some clients were like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Perfect. Let's have him be low stress. And some were not on board. Right. However, then as you get more of a name for yourself, then you are attracting the clients who do want fear-free.
Yeah. Did you guys have to kind of emotionally lean on each other through the process, or were you both pretty confident in what you were doing and felt like, okay, we can let these clients go?
Oh, I think some may say we take fear-free to an extreme.
Yeah.
We are very confident. Now, in the back of our minds, it's not amazing to lose clients. I understand that. But then we get 3 more new ones that are here specifically because of fear-free, and their pet hasn't been able to get care. The vet told them they needed to be euthanized. So where we might have a moment of, gosh, this is really hard, then the next 3 patients are wonderful and amazing and came to us specifically so their pet could get care. I had a client the other day tell me I would lay awake at night wondering how I was going to get my dog care just in general. And I'm not even talking she already forego the vaccines. If something happens to her, what am I going to do? And she's like, now coming here and I stay with her and you let me help, and she's sedated and she's happy. And now my faith has been restored that she can get care.
Yeah. That's amazing.
That
makes a lot of difference.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing that will fill your bucket as a fear-free professional as hearing something like that. Oh my gosh, we hear this all the time, and I never ever get tired of hearing it, that we've never had a visit like this. We've never had a visit this good. She's never been this calm. She's never been this happy. Oh my gosh, I didn't think we could get this done. I had a client once ask me oh gosh, with an anxious dog, that was a new client who came here for fear-free, but still I don't think they always know how all in we're going to be. And she was like, gosh, do you just hate seeing anxious dogs like this? I prefer to see anxious dogs like this, because everybody, including me, right, loves to see the happy golden retriever puppy. I'm not going to lie, that's super fun. That's great. Mm-hmm. But anyone can do that. Anyone can do fear-free with that puppy. You just give it some food and some pets and we're happy. It's so much more fulfilling to help these patients that nobody else can or will.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's sort of that perspective of changing challenge into opportunity, right? The fact that you go, oh yeah, I love to see this, the nervous ones. I think it's wonderful. Are there any parts of sort of traditional fear-free or the fear-free approach that you guys decided were not for you? Were there any things that you started doing and then stopped doing because you didn't feel like they were effective, or they kind of weren't a fit with where you were trying to go?
I don't
Not really.
No, we joke with Dr. Becker that we're carrying his torch. Because what they're doing is great. His goal is to get as many people certified and as many clinics certified and just doing some sort of fear-free. And so we've taken that and we've built upon it multiple times over. So I don't think there's anything that we're not or chose not to do. We've just, in our opinion, made it better, and
we're trailblazing.
Exactly.
We're trailblazing. So we do everything. There's nothing about fear-free that we don't like to do, but now we are trailblazing, and we have Dr. Becker's blessing to say this. It's okay. That we are carrying his torch, like Jessica said. We're trailblazing. We're taking it above and beyond.
Because a lot of it does look like the fluff, right? The pheromones in the rooms, the music, the heating pads, the non-slip mats, and all of that is great. We have all of that and then some. Like, we have gone all in, overboard, some might say. But then you have this segment of pets that literally aren't getting care because they are too stressed to come to the vet. They probably will bite you. They will probably pee and poop all over the floor. They will cower under the owner's legs or not even get out of the car. We have some patients that won't even come in the front door. So how do we get those pets care? To us, that is where the real money is. Like, we can make those pets have a neutral to somewhat good experience, right? They're not having a great time, but they are getting the care they need. Everybody is safe. And a lot of times they're just quite sedated.
How many appointments do you generally see in a day, you think?
So we have 16 scheduled appointments for Dr. Megan. And then we have 8-ish appointments a day scheduled for the LVTs. And then 4 to 6 day admits or drop-offs that then Dr. Megan, of course, fits in between her schedule.
Yeah. Wow. So are you basically planning on about 20-ish minute appointments? That's one of the pushbacks I've seen with fear-free is people are like, oh man, it takes a long time. If you're seeing 16 appointments a day plus sort of drop-offs and walk-ins and tech appointments, and you guys are not slouching on the number of appointments coming through.
But you have to properly utilize your team. And every one of our team members is fear-free trained, every single one of them. We made our own advanced fear-free training. They all go through that. Dr. Megan's 16 appointments are in 2 columns and they're horizontal. And so there's 2 assistants. They're 40 minutes long. The doctor time is about 15 minutes, and that includes seeing the pet, paperwork, medications, things like that. My rebuttal to that would be, yes, it takes longer, but if you take longer the first time, those visits are going to get shorter each time.
Yeah. Have you seen that? Have you seen that? Like, is there like an onboarding phase for sort of fear-free clients where you have to work with them and then they're sort of, as the pets sort of relax or get comfortable, do you find that these things go more smoother as you go along?
Yes. And there definitely is an onboarding. A lot of the patients, so one of 2 things will happen. The patients that we can't touch, I will do a visual exam where I go outside and look at them in their car so that legally I can prescribe them PPPs. Okay. And that's it. That's all we do is I look at you from a distance to make sure you look reasonably healthy for your PPPs. That's if they are more moderate, like for those of you who know FAS score more of like a 3, we come in and use that as an opportunity for a happy visit. Like, they come in the room, they get treats, we play a treat game. I see if they'll accept any kind of desensitization with the tools. If not, that's fine. Then it's just fun. And then I do the PPPs. And then they come back for the exam.
Gotcha.
So essentially, it has taken up 2 appointment spots, but that's the only time you have to do that. Yep. In the future, we know what they need for PVPs. We have modified so PVPs are pre-visit pharmaceuticals, some type of mild sedation that we have made our own kind of cocktails based on their score, FAS 2, 3, 4, or 5. But we don't know that when we haven't met them before. And so that first visit, it does end up taking up 2 doctor appointments, but that is worth it to us because then that next visit goes amazing. And every visit, no matter who they see here, goes amazing.
Yeah.
And I have another rebuttal to that as well, which is, how much time does it take to have 4 of your people laying on them while they're screaming to try to trim their nails? Yeah. I bet that takes longer than playing a treat game with them for 10 minutes and sending them home with meds.
Well, I love the fact that you've been doing this for years and you feel that way. You know, it's like, it's not like this is something new you're picking up and you're hoping that's true. That's what you guys have seen. What have you been most surprised by as you've sort of gone down this path and built your practice out this way? What did you not expect that has become a part of your life?
One of the things that we didn't expect is like the way we are causing stress on some of our patients.
Yes.
So a couple ways is, right, if the patient comes and they're too high stress, they need to go home and come back on a different day. Once they've reached a certain threshold, we can't bring them back down. So what we were doing, like, we thought we were doing great, we'll send you home. Oh, that wasn't enough pre-visits, we'll send you home again. And then we're like, now we've caused this dog so much stress because we've sent them home 3 or 4 times. We don't do that anymore. You get one opportunity, otherwise we're just going to sedate you. We use a lot of injectable sedation. The other one is, we unintentionally caused a lot of stress, isn't probably the right word, but on our puppies, social pressure. Like, we, in our puppy visits, in an effort to try to make them very fun and fear-free and happy, we caused them to be so excited they could just never calm down.
Yeah.
And so we have kind of had to realize these things on our own and make changes.
Gotcha.
Mine also has to do with social pressure in that everyone thinks, including me, I went through it, it's fine, we all go through this phase, that fear-free means no restraints. When that is not true, it means gentle, considerate restraint. And so there was a phase of Fluffy's in the corner and sitting on the floor going, okay, come here, come on, Fluffy, come here, come here, come here, come here. And they're not, obviously. And that is putting a lot of pressure on the dog because they understand. They know what you want. They know that word. They know that, but they don't want to. So then that creates so much conflict in them that they're like, I know she wants me to go over there. She has food. That looks great. But also I'm terrified and I can't do it. I don't know what to do. The other thing that didn't really surprise me because I'm a cat person, but is surprising to most other people is you're going to get bit way, way, way less, especially by cats, if you don't restrain them. Like, at all. I mean, some restraint, obviously, but when cats try to let it be their decision, no, absolutely no scruffing ever under any circumstances at all. But really, not much restraint at all. And you would think, oh, that cat's going to bite me. They are not. They are going to leave if given the opportunity and not strike you because you're not forcing them to stay still.
Yeah.
I think to answer your question
fantastic.
about what maybe has had an impression on us is, and this is good and has turned out to be kind of a weird thing for us, is we have made such a calm, quiet environment. So we were in a 2,000 square foot clinic in a strip mall. And last year we built a new clinic. So we're now in a 5,000 square foot clinic. Again, most of this fear-free stuff happened in the small clinic. You can do it. It doesn't matter your size. Fear-free doesn't require size. But the new building was built specifically for fear-free. Lots of different things in mind. But it's quiet. Dogs don't bark. Patients don't see each other. It's calm and relaxing for the clients, the patients, and the team. That's part of what we promise our team as well. And it's just, the unfortunate part about that is, from what I've learned as I'm interviewing, which we're no longer hiring, but in my interviews, is veterinary clinics are synonymous with stress and chaos. And it is hard for people, team members, to see it another way. Yeah. They come in and they think, you must be slow, you must be dead, you not have any patients in the hospital. I said, oh no, actually all 6 exam rooms are full and we have 3 surgery patients and 4 day admit patients. But no one's barking. That's intentional. Dogs don't bark. Nobody makes noise at all. And that is what we strive for. In fact, when a dog starts barking, probably everybody jumps up and is like, who is that and what do they need? Because they're stressed. They're telling us that they're stressed. That's
fantastic. I know people are going to want to see what you guys are doing, and they're going to want to kind of learn more about it and kind of get their I know that people are going to want to see what you guys are doing and really sort of internalize this a little bit more. You guys do a lot on social media. Tell me about that.
So, yes, on Instagram at Latah Creek AH, we are all things fear-free. We talk about fear-free in our clinic and how we do it. We also try to reach the industry as a whole to let them understand, help them understand what is fear, anxiety, and stress? What is FAS? What are the scores? What does that mean? How do I decide what my patients are? What does that look like in your clinic? Anything and everything you could think of. How do I have to do all of that? Do I have to be fully certified? How do I help my clients? All of that is on our social media. Our social media is very branded to exactly who we are, our ideal client, our ideal team member, fear-free in everything that we're trying to do. So you can find tips for you to use in your clinic. You can find tips for your clients on how you can help them advocate for their pet. Because, right, there's a lot of clinics that LVT is doing some fear-free, but the clinic is not. Okay, well, give these tips to your client. They can do these 5 things and not even include the clinic, right? There's lots of things that can be done. So we try to speak to our clients, the community, and other clinics, both on our social media and in person.
That's fantastic. I'll put a link in the show notes so people can find it. Guys, thanks so much for being here and sharing your story. I really appreciate it. Gang, thanks for tuning in and listening, everybody. Take care of yourselves. I hope this has been good food for thought. And that's what I got for you. Guys, thanks for being here. Thanks to Jessica and Megan for being here as well. Thanks to Marty Becker for putting me in touch with them and for all the work that they're all doing for Fear Free. I think it's making the world better for pets and their people. So anyway, guys, be well, everybody. Take care. I'll talk to you later on.